Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Elara Canfield Show, the Awaken to Happiness Now Global Series. Thank you so much for being here today. And I'm so excited because my good friend Benjamin is here with us. And I have to tell you, Benjamin is amazing at what he does. The astrology work that he does and the wisdom that he has and the knowledge he has and the tools, it's like amazing. I had a session with him last November, and I was just telling him that some of the stuff that he told me, it's come to pass and in such an interesting way. And it's like, oh, this is what he meant, So it's like, it's really interesting to see the changes that he had said may come to pass, right? And they did, and they are, still happening. And it's like, wow, he was right. I get it now, So it just, he's amazing. So I'm so glad that he's here with us. I've said this many times before when he's been on that he knows, so much about this astrology, and I mean, I don't know anything, nothing compared, like 1% maybe. But he's amazing. And then his healing work, again, is so powerful as well. We've experienced that on these calls, and they always put me in such a wonderful state, as they do you. And he does it so effortlessly, which is beautiful. And so I'm so excited that he's here with us. And for today he's talking to us about revolutionary higher purpose, combining 2017's intense astrology with invocations to heal faster, awaken more deeply, and serve with joy. And so Benjamin, he's going to be teaching us or showing us information about this rare alignment and how we can use it of Vesta, Jupiter, Uranus, and Pluto until April 20th. So between now and April 20th, there's some stuff going on. So he's going to talk to us about that, along with his mantle invocations to take us, our personal evolution and inspired service to the next level. So many of us that are on these calls, we are here to serve, and not just serve, but we are here for our own personal growth, right? So he's going to help us with some invocations for that. And Benjamin will do some brief astrology readings for callers, and I know you've all got your hands raised, so you can hit star 2 to raise your hand, or you can submit a question in the Q&A. And he'll describe how you can dramatically accelerate your spiritual awakening with his free, simple Heal and Awaken invocations, and his free program that includes them called EASE, the Embodied Awakening Support Experience. And so for those of you who don't know Benjamin, I'll just tell you a little bit about him. He is on iTunes. He has an astrology podcast. He's the #1 This Week in Astrology. He was the best astrologer winner 3 years in a row in North Carolina's premier reader survey, is a professionally certified astrologer, and has done over 6,000 astrology and shamanic healing sessions with a global clientele. He posts video astrology forecasts on his popular YouTube channel, and I actually went and looked at his YouTube channel just, oh my goodness, I think 2 weeks ago. I was interested to see what was going on with the stars and the planets, and so it was really interesting to hear his take on it. Benjamin has lectured or taught at 5 national astrology conferences and retreats. He's written numerous astrology forecasts for Natural Awakenings magazine and wrote the Shamanic Astrology chapter in the book Transpersonal Astrology, Explorations at the Frontier. Benjamin is also a shamanic healer and awakening activator. He consistently facilitates powerful healings and spiritual awakenings in his individual and group sessions. There's just so much more to Benjamin than just the astrology and the healing sessions. His greatest joy is helping others access or deepen their spiritual awakenings with his simple, effective Heal and Awaken invocations. And his spiritual path has included Kriya Yoga, Buddhism, Peruvian shamanism, ayahuasca, and San Pedro plant spirit medicine, and his invocations. But I have to tell you, when I was doing, I had my session with Benjamin, it was, what came across the most, apart from his knowledge and wisdom for all that stuff, was his compassion and his integrity. So I really wanted to share that with you because he really cares, and he really wants you to get all of the information that you need so you can really live the best life that you can and really prosper, in this year, 2017, because that's what we're in now, and amidst all of the changes. So he's a, wonderful, wonderful guide in that way and can show us so much more than we even thought was possible. So I'm so glad that Benjamin Bernstein is here with us today. So I invite you all to just quickly center in your heart space in this radiant light healing circle that we've created here, all of us together listening now or listening later on the replay. And just take a deep breath and center in your heart space. And just feel that connection with your heart. Feel the energy that's flowing right now into the call for all of us, from my team, from your teams, from Benjamin's team, who are all here to support us. So receive love, the support, and from time to time just tap in and share that with all of us on the call so that we can all receive more from this call that we thought was possible, for our highest good and for the highest good of all. So please, I invite you to join me in welcoming Benjamin to the show. Benjamin, welcome.
Thank you, Laura. It's a pleasure to be here again.
I'm so glad you're here. I'm just like, so much is, yes, absolutely.
Oh, good.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, you sound good.
Good, yeah. Oh, perfect. So, I'm so glad you're here because, the past couple of months, right, have been hectic and crazy, right? There's just been so much going on globally, for sure. But I also think personally for a lot of people, there's a lot going on, in their own spiritual growth, in their own lives. A lot of stuff is coming up. So what can you share with us today about any of that?
Well, there's things happening on many levels. Astrologically, the aspect pattern that, I was eager to talk about today is called a grand cross, and that's just a square, a geometrical square. And there's 4 planets in that are, again, as you said, active through April 20th. Uranus and Pluto are really the heart of the pattern, and we also have Jupiter and the asteroid goddess called Vesta. And I want to kind of explain this in layers so it's easy to understand. The most important part of it is Uranus and Pluto, and these guys have been making a square to each other in the sky, which is astrotalk for a 90-degree angle to each other, for almost a decade now. They started really coming together around 2008. They were exact 2012 through 2015, and even though they're no longer making exact squares, they're still kind of easing close to each other and apart and close again in the sky. And they're going to be close enough, like in horseshoes and hand grenades, close enough is good enough in astrology, through the end of the decade. So let me explain what they do. Together, the simplest way to understand what they do is the phrase revolutionary transformation. And I think anyone who's been paying any attention to the world the last few years, we are not in the same world we were in a few years ago. Politically, we've had a seismic shift. Even Obama coming in was under Uranus-Pluto, and that was a seismic shift. Now Trump is another seismic shift. Technology, look at what technology we had 10 years ago. Look what's here now. It's going by leaps and bounds, whether for good or ill is a matter of opinion. And with Uranus and Pluto, the good and the ill both come together. It seems like really amazing, wonderful things happen and really horrible, terrible seeming things happen, and they all kind of come flooding in. What's consistent is that there's a lot of big change really fast. And it can be tricky to keep sane under these kind of energies because it's also speedy. And there's things you thought were secure suddenly turn to quicksand under your feet. And that's why personally what I advocate is to develop a way of connecting with your own divine source. Because if you have as your foundation not the shifting sands of the physical world and your personal human situation, but you have as your foundation your spiritual core, the bedrock of beingness that we all have under us, then that's much more secure and you can tolerate a lot more slipping and sliding at the ego level than if you don't have that. But I don't want to jump off on that spiritual tangent just yet. I just wanted to mention it. So Uranus and Pluto, each planet individually also has certain ways it's best worked with. And I should add here, my own astrological view is that there's no such thing as a good planet or a bad planet. It's just energy. And whether it appears to be good or bad in your personal subjective experience has a lot to do with how skillfully you're working with it. So what I wanted to here is give the high side ways that I recommend of working with these two energies. And I need to emphasize, again, with Uranus and Pluto, these guys are not just around through the 20th of April. These guys are around through the rest of the decade. These guys are long-term players together. So with Pluto, the first step you want to take is to release everything that does not serve you. And that includes physical objects, that includes relationships, ways of being, and ways of thinking. If there's anything in your life, physically or energetically, that feels stale, outworn, you're just going through the motions, it ain't making you excited and vibrant, then consider whether you really need that thing in your life and let it go if you don't. Once you've done all the releasing you can, or to the degree that you do that, then Uranus begins to deliver wealth and power. Now, the power part is important. Most people think of power as ego power, like my will be done. Trump is a great example of that kind of ego power, just kind of bullying his way through to get what he wants. However, the kind of power that optimally is best used with Pluto is divine power. And even the glyph I use for Pluto, which if you look at it a certain way, it looks like a human being raising their arms to heaven and saying, I surrender. And this is the surrender where you win. Because if you're willing to say, I wish to be of service, I wish to align my human actions with my inner guidance, with my own divine will as I receive it from within myself, then all of a sudden a whole lot more power opens up to you because a surrendered instrument can be trusted better. And you have the ability to be a far more powerful instrument of service than if you're just trying to have your way at the ego level. So in my experience, the greater the full surrender to the divine, which I've been practicing for years, and you can always go deeper into it, has made me a much more effective instrument of service than I used to be when I was still more ego-dominated. And, of course, Pluto can bring wealth, and that can mean money, riches, any kind of abundance, whether it's material or any other kind of abundance. So Pluto offers some real powerful opportunities, and of course, some possible challenges, too. So that's I'm trying to just really hit bullet points. I could go into much greater depth on that, but I'm going to just leave it at that. That's my basic Pluto prescription. Then Uranus, he has three high side ways he loves to be. First is my shorthand phrase, fly your freak flag, which means be the unique, one-of-a-kind person you really know yourself to be as a human, no matter how bizarre that is. And to the greatest degree you possibly can, let that admit to yourself that that's you, and to the degree that you can, let the world see that too. Second is to follow your intuitive flashes, which is how Uranus communicates. Uranus is divine mind, trying to communicate to your human mind. It does that through intuitive flashes, which are also known as gut feelings. And everybody gets them, and everyone has recognized them from time to time. The way you know it's an intuitive flash is the absolute certainty you feel the moment the thought arrives. You may doubt it afterward, but it's certain when it's first arriving. So do those things that come in as those certainties. Trust the gut feelings. And the third and highest use of Uranus is to serve the collective using your greatest gifts and talents in the ways that most delight you. The best service is service joyfully rendered. It's so fun, so fulfilling, so rewarding in whatever ways that you finish the service and you would be delighted to do it again. So those are the three high sides of Uranus: fly the freak flag, follow the intuitive flashes, serve using your greatest gifts in the ways that delight you. Now, to the degree that you don't do that and Uranus or its accompanying sign Aquarius is strong for you, then you will feel agitation of the nervous system. You'll feel cranky, irritable, nervous, ADD, just kind of jangly, nervous, that kind of thing will be strong to the degree that you are not doing those three high side things. And I've had so many clients who came in with that kind of energy working in their bodies, and they started doing the three high side prescription. They said, man, that nervous agitation, it just fell away. I gave Uranus something better to do. So that is the core prescription for this Grand Cross. That's just the Uranus-Pluto part. before I add the other two planets, Alara, do you have anything you wanted to ask or add in there?
No, but it's like, it's interesting to watch how this is all shaping up right now, especially with everything that's going on in the global world and personally.
Mm-hmm.
I'm definitely doing a lot of releasing and clearing and letting go and surrendering and trusting and, all of that. And it's a powerful time. Yeah.
Yeah, you and a lot of other people. So let me add the other two. Jupiter has a number of different meanings. One of the most juicy meanings, given the world as it is politics. So politics is one way that this Grand Cross is playing out. Jupiter also represents hope, joy, celebration, enthusiasm, exuberance, and it's an invitation to be radically joyful, too. I mean, yes, there's problems in the world, but Jupiter says, make time to celebrate what's good. The human psyche needs a certain amount of joy and celebration and partying to be healthy. So don't deny yourself that in appropriate, measure. Jupiter also is religion, philosophy, the meaning of life. And so there are many people under this revolutionizing of that who are moving from more traditional or limiting belief systems or philosophies and realizing, there's more. I am actually going from worshiping something outside myself to realizing the divine is inside me and working to connect with that. That's a really radical for a lot of people. People who are already on the awakening path are often having much more radical awakenings now and breaking through faster. So that's another thing that is happening under, the three, Jupiter, Uranus, Pluto, playing together. The fourth planet, there's more I could say about Jupiter, but again, I'm trying to be time sensitive here. Vesta, who is one of the asteroid goddesses that I use, has two important levels of meaning that I want to bring out here. The first is to hone yourself as an instrument, kind of like an athlete in training. So this is a time when you can radically bring yourself up to speed, and whatever shifts need to be made in you, whether it's physical, emotional, mental, spiritual, in order for you to be that optimal instrument of service that you feel called to do, then, do that training, make those shifts. And then Vesta is about, I want to go serve a higher cause. Vesta is not at all about just self-interest. Vesta is about, how can I serve the collective good? It's in sympathy with that high Uranus meaning of serve the collective with your special gifts. So there's a strong energy here of being able to think, how can I serve a greater good in a way that's also good for me? I'm a big believer in the philosophy, you need to get as good as you give. That means, yes, you may be called to serve and assist others, but you're doing it in a way that is delightful for you and that really is in sync with the talents and gifts you came in to serve with. So that would be the very most basic way I could describe this Grand Cross with Uranus, Pluto, Jupiter, and Vesta that's going to be with us through April 20th. And again, Uranus and Pluto collectively will be with us through the end of the decade, those two guys.
Wow. And if people wanted to find out more about this particular Grand Cross, they can go to your YouTube or they can go to iTunes and listen to your podcast and get more information that way, or your website, right?
Probably the single best way would just be to go to astroshaman.com and go to the written forecast. From there, they can link to my videos and my podcasts and all the other ways I deliver the information. But the website is kind of the central clearinghouse for everything else. So probably better to start there and then link around.
Perfect. Yeah, because there is a lot of information there that, you've only shared a little bit because of time, but there's more information if people want to really dig deeper, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, my article on the Grand Cross, I have links to prior articles about just the T-square with Jupiter, Uranus, Pluto, and that links to just the article on Uranus and Pluto, and those go far deeper than what I verbalized here. So if someone wants to go deeper, I've got plenty of articles that go way deep on all that stuff around these aspects that are up right now.
Perfect. Thank you. And so, I guess a little bit later we're going to do a process with ease, right? We're going to do a little bit of like a meditation later on.
Yeah, it'll be a process. If we can do a 20-minute process or 25 minutes, I can take people all the way through the cycle. If we don't have that much time, then I can at least give a flavor of one or two of the invocations, and up to people can feel the energy moving in their body, and then they can go over to my site and do the rest on their own. Or you mentioned Ease, which is my embodied awakening support experience. That's a free service I offer, and I've got those processes and many others available for free through there. They can do them live. They can check the archive, which now is up to nearly 80 MP3s. I should say, I'm here as an awakener. My main job as an incarnate human is to help as many people awaken to their divinity as I can, and that is my core mission. And the invocations I offer, the Ease program, are all offered freely, so that anyone who vibes with the approach that I give, there should be no barrier between me and them taking advantage of that.
Perfect. Thank you. Now, I want to talk a little bit about your astrology readings per se, because I know that most of the people that have their hands raised right now, that's what they're looking for. They're looking for some sort of information from you. But what does that look like? In a on a call like this, you can't spend an hour or 2 hours with them, but
no.
But in a call like this, what kind of information can you provide, and what information do you need from them to make it quicker and more efficient?
Okay, so what I'll need from them right off the bat is their first name and their date, time, and city of birth. If they don't know the time, at the very least, I need to know the date at the very minimum. I will be able to answer a single specific question, and I'm going to try to do it in 5 minutes or less. So this is quickie astrology. It's not designed to be an in-depth reading. I mean, for me to do what I consider a decent in-depth reading takes 90 minutes because the chart is so deep and has so much valuable information. So if someone's on the line today, then what I'll ask them to do is have your question very specifically formulated, have it be very specific, so that we can dive right in and get to it.
Perfect. And now, one thing that you mentioned, Benjamin, while you were speaking was that, you're an awakener, right? And that's one of your purposes, in this life. Is that information something that you got through the, astrology readings? Could people find that out through their readings with you?
The awakening part?
Well, no, the life purpose,
Oh, of course. Thank you. Yeah, I should mention what I call the readings I do. I call them Astrology Plus because I'm perfectly happy to mix and match all the modalities I do in any session. So if someone, like the packages we're offering today are all Astrology Plus MP3s, for example. The Astrology Plus can be all just Western astrology, or I can do the invocations that we've been mentioning that guide people into their awakened self or into deep states of healing. I also am happy to do shamanic healing. I do shamanic healing routinely, and I can, I'm a pretty good channel for energy, and it can help, clear out stuff that may have been persistent problems for people, or that are, whether it's physical, emotional, mental, and we'll do the best we can to root out whatever it is to the degree that it can be cleared. So basically I can mix astrology, shamanic healing, and awakening activation all together in a session in whatever way is most helpful for the client. And unless the client has particulars, we usually start with astrology and then we'll segue into the other stuff. In terms of life purpose, that is astrology's forte. In a sense, the entire horoscope is a map of life purpose. The idea is that the incoming soul maneuvered behind the scenes to make sure that first breath was drawn at that particular moment. And that moment, the arrangement of the planets in the sky, when understood by someone who understands astrology, is a very detailed map of soul purpose. And thus, if someone wants an intellectual understanding of why am I here, then that's astrology. And the other things are to create energetic shifts and awareness enhancement. Yeah.
Good. Thank you. Okay. Wow. I just looking back at the board, and it's like, oh, lots of questions. Uh-huh. um, okay, so maybe how about we take a few questions and see
Okay.
how people are doing. All right. So like Benjamin said, have your name, first name, last name, date of birth, and time and city if you have it, right?
And first name is enough. That's all I really
First
need.
name is enough. Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
All right. Great. All right. So we're going to go to the phone line 6408, phone number ending in 6408.
That would be me.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
How are
Hi.
you? Again, hello. Oddly enough, this was one of those calls that I knew that I needed to get to because I was going to be called. So there we are. I hope that I don't
So what's
give
your
you
name?
a headache. My name is Judy.
And do you have your date of birth?
A lot of trauma. Date of birth is 2/23/50. I do not have the time of birth.
Do you know the city?
Norristown,
City?
Pennsylvania.
Morristown?
No, Norris, Norris.
Okay. Yeah, it doesn't really matter without the other, but I'll put something in anyway. Hang on a second. Let me see. So again, with no time, technically speaking, I don't know the houses, so I'm working with partial information in this case.
I understand.
So there's some I know, some I don't. So what is your particular question here, Judy?
My particular question is, at a very pivotal point in my life and a very frightening point of my life, and what I'm really looking to see is, am I ready for a positive breakthrough or a crash? I'm much the giver, and it seems like that has not worked out in my favor, and I just need something to grasp onto at this moment.
Okay, you said you're a giver and that has not worked in your favor. Did I hear you correctly?
Absolutely not.
A giver as in martyr kind of giver? Like sacrificing
No,
yourself
the giver,
kind of giver?
not really the martyr. I'm really the giver because it comes from the heart, and I see it. If I can jump in and I can help, I'm the first one to help. And you know, there has been wonderful relationships that have come from this, which of course are a gift. But areas that I have given in have left me in really dire straits.
Okay. All right. So first, just a general piece of advice I touched on earlier, which is make sure you get as good as you give. If you are, it does not serve you to give in a way that depletes and diminishes you.
I heard that quite clearly.
Is this giving energetic or just physical labor? I mean, what's the nature, just briefly, what's the nature of the
more
giving?
More energetic,
Okay.
more heart-giving, more, the reaching out to try to strengthen someone. And then I just, in the giving that I've done within the parental role, which we've all done, has fallen flat, and I've left myself, in essence, almost without family that is blood. So the giving, I would want to say, is more energetic and love-wise.
Okay. So would you say that this giving is from your personal energy store, or are you being a conduit for spiritual energy to come through you?
I think that it's both.
Okay. But you say you are feeling depleted.
Yes.
Did I hear you correctly? Okay. All right. Then what's happening energetically is there's too much of your personal energy going out. Do you have the ability to call upon the divine flow coming through you for the benefit of another person? Can you do Reiki or a comparable tool where you can at any moment call upon that divine to flow through you for the benefit of another person?
I've not done too well with that. I do know that I am very much the empath, so I take on a lot that's around me.
Okay.
I'm now at a period where I would like. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. So basically, energetically, if you're an empath, you're a sponge. Okay. So you have two choices, and this is for anyone who is resonating with what she's saying, who's real sensitive, and you feel other people's emotions in the environments of spaces around you. If you're built sensitive, and you are built sensitive, Judy, when I look at your astrology, you have a Pisces sun that is highly porous and sensitive. The planet Neptune connects to bunches of planets in your chart, including the Sun, Mercury, and Mars. 3 out of 5 personal planets is a lot of Neptune connection. Therefore, you are a sponge. So here's the deal. If you do not have a way to consistently and reliably charge up from your spiritual source, then you will go out as a dry sponge, and you will soak up whatever energy is out there, whether it's dirty or clean. Okay? If you go out as a sopping wet sponge, then you will not pick up the heavy energy out there, and you will drip water everywhere. And, of course, this water is a metaphor for spiritual life. And the good news is, using a simple invocation, this is so simple to do. In fact, if you'll stay on the line, Judy, in a while we're going to do at least my initial invocation, which calls in maximum light and divine consciousness, and I would like you to please do that with us if you can, and you will feel what I'm talking about. So let me just briefly explain how simple this is. We all have a higher self. We all have angels and guides and all these amazing divine beings hanging around. For most people, they have to float around with their wings folded because their host won't give them anything to do. But they would love to be of service. They literally have nothing else to do. They are assigned to you, okay? So if you are willing to say, Spirit that I am, would you please saturate me with the maximum light and divine consciousness that serves highest good? And then if you will just passively breathe, understanding that you, Judy, or the ego, cannot do it for yourself, because this is nothing an ego can do. It's above its pay grade, but it can relax and let the divine bring it in. Then you will be saturated with light. If you want to assist another person energetically, you say, Spirit that I am, please flow the energy through me to serve this person's highest good. And you then, once again, just completely go passive. If you're sensitive, you will feel that light coming in the top of your head, out the front of your body, going to them. The energy will totally manage itself in terms of color, the level it's coming from, divine beings that are sending it through. That's all automated. And anybody can do this. No training required. I have just given you everything you need to know. So in your case, Judy, or anyone who is an empath and you're wanting to help people, what I'm gathering from what you're saying, Judy, is that you have not yet taken full advantage of the divine resources available to you, which can recharge you at any time and which can flow potent, helpful energy to another person without your personal store being depleted at all. In fact, a flow well done, you will actually end up more bright and energized at the end of it than when you started. Does that make sense?
Wonderful. It does. It does.
So that is the potential that you have, and the general direction I would recommend going. And I hope that's a helpful answer and sufficient for now.
Yeah, there just seems to be that whole realm because, just like my instinct, I knew I needed to be on this call. I stopped 20 other things to do it because I knew. So I know there's a lot of other things going on within me.
Good. So was that a helpful answer?
Indeed it was, and I thank you so much for that.
You're welcome. Okay, thank you so much for calling in, Judy. Very grateful.
Be blessed. Thank you so much, and I will hang on. Thank you.
Yeah, right. Please stay. Yeah, thank you. Bye. Because that, the healing invocations, that we're going to do a little bit later are going to be really helpful for everyone. Goodness. Okay. Goodness. Oh, my goodness.
So many people on.
I know. Yeah, there's so many people. I was like, oh, my goodness. We're not going to get to everybody at all, but we'll try and see what we can do. So I'm just seeing somebody who, on the Q&A, who's actually submitted their name and date of birth would be great. So I have Judy in Beaverton, another Judy, anyways, in Beaverton. Her birthday is 6/21/1951.
Now, is
born
this
in Salem or...
Can I is this someone I'll be talking with interactively here on the phone?
Oh, I don't think, no, this is from the Q&A. So maybe not.
I would really strongly prefer to do live interaction if possible.
Okay, perfect.
It's just way more helpful if I can
talk to them.
Yeah, if that's possible. And anyone who's on Q&A and not on the call, they can call in on the phone. It's come in by web or voice call. So if it's possible, I'd like to those who can actually talk to me in real time, so I can have the interaction that's so helpful.
Okay, perfect. So I have. Jeez. All right. Well, because I was trying to get something, get you information beforehand, but it's not working. All right. So we're going to go to phone number ending in. Yeah. Well, phone number ending in 7415. 7415.
Hi. How are you? Can you guys hear me? Okay.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Good.
Go ahead.
Okay, good. So my first name is Jamie. I was
Jeannie?
born on August.
Jamie.
Jaimie.
Okay, thank you.
I was
and
born
your date of birth?
August 18th, 1980.
Okay. And time of birth?
7:26 in the morning.
And the city of birth?
Waterbury.
And what state is that?
And that's in Connecticut.
All right. Let me see if I got the spelling right. Waterbury?
Yep, that's it.
All right. Thank you. Okay. Let me get your chart up. Put it back to regular houses. And what is your question?
So I'm fascinated by a lot of the shamanic light working and ways to be of service. And I've been doing a lot of spiritual digging and searching over the past couple of years. But right now I'm feeling very tired. And like all the things I thought I was going to do that had to do with light working and crystals and holistic things, I'm just feeling so tired lately, like I'm not interested in really anything. And I don't know what to do to sort of jumpstart and get excited about stuff again.
Okay.
And, so
how long have you been? So how long has this fatigue been present?
I would say it's been growing more prevalent within the past 2 years. So I think that's a good window to work with, is like 2 to 3 years.
Okay, so a longer term play here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just going to go back in time and check that real quick. See who's. Okay, so what's been happening, that's the most likely explanation, is the transiting planet Neptune has come to aspect all 4 of your chart's angles. Let me put that in English for you now. The transiting planet Neptune either spiritualizes or dissolves. Your chart is set up in a way that the beginnings of what are called the angular houses, numbered 1, 4, 7, and 10, are all pretty close to each other. And it sounds to me like Neptune is having a dissipative effect. My sense is you're being pulled inside yourself because there's some important internal work that needs to be done. Are you finding your attention going to a lot of your interior psychological work instead of the external packaging stuff?
Yeah, I started doing a lot of deeper work. Maybe I think it started about 5 years ago. And then I really went deep and kind of dark for a little while. And just within the past couple of weeks, I was thinking I even needed to go darker or deeper. But now I'm kind of realizing maybe I need to actually reverse and go more out into the light. But I'm sort of like teetering somewhere in the middle right now. Okay.
All right. So the things that are happening in your chart are supportive of what you're saying. There's actually quite a bit going on by transit for you. Things that are really drawing my attention. Remember that Grand Cross I talked about that is so powerful in the sky? It's really zooming in on your natal Pluto and Mars. And Pluto is the lord of the underworld. He's the deep psyche. He's the buried stuff that, comes up when you do your deep psychology. In fact, he represents psychology in astrology. So you're getting really potent stimulation of Pluto right now, especially from the Pluto and Uranus planets. Jupiter is pretty much smack on it by transit. So this says Pluto themes are big. I gave Pluto themes earlier in the show, but in your case, the way he's working is in the deep psychological realm. So it actually is a good time to be doing what we might broadly call shadow work. Do you know what shadow work is?
Okay. Yep.
So basically, your old stuff's going to come up, your childhood wounds. You can even be bringing up stuff from past lives. So that's being stimulated very strongly right now. I'm just checking his rulership. Okay. Okay, and it looks like a lot of self-worth themes are coming up as well. How you value yourself is a big, yeah, because Pluto's in your second house of what you value, including yourself. Now, one thing you can do, now Neptune, as I said, is working the 4 angles. So I would consciously use Neptune, and I would be actively, as I was saying to Judy on the first call, can you call your divine to help you, to send you energy to assist you with this? Are you just plugging this out at the ego level, or are you actively aligning with your divine allies inside you to get?
Yeah, definitely the first one. I'm kind of plugging it out at the ego level, and I think maybe I got kind of so overwhelmed that I sort of flatlined a little bit with it and just kind of went, oh, I don't know what to do, and just kind of got stuck in the mud, which is sort of where I am right now. So.
Okay, I get it. Okay, yeah, so a lot of what you're feeling now is one of Neptune's possible challenging manifestations. Neptune can be lethargy, aimlessness, kind of just no drive to do much of anything. So right now, Neptune is working in a more challenging way because you have not assigned it something better to do. Okay?
Okay.
Now, the is going to be on your angles for quite a while longer. He's not going to leave the ascendant-descendant axis. Let me just get the timing here. He's pretty. I'm just checking the duration for you here. Mm-hmm. He'll be there February 2018, another year. So it's pretty important that you get better to do, and it's very simple. What I'm going to suggest to you is just, if you've been doing this energy work at all, you have a higher self, you have a divine energy source that flows through you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Experience the energy, have you not? When you've had a conscious experience of subtle.
I'm sorry, it broke up just a little.
Sorry. Have you had a conscious experience of divine energy in your awareness before in this lifetime?
Yes.
Okay, so you need to invoke it. Okay, we all have a vast reservoir of divine energy that is freely available to us for asking, but we have to ask.
Okay.
Whether you do it. So whether you do this, can you still hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
And I need to unplug this phone here to get rid of the distraction. I'm sorry. My apologies for that. Okay. So again, will you be able to stay on the call for the invocation part we're doing in a bit?
Yep, I'll be here.
So do what we're saying there. Basically, you need to use Neptune as an active conduit of divine energy. Call in both the energy you need and the insight you need. It sounds like you're not really clear on direction. Say, Spirit, guide me. I am open to your higher wisdom of where I should be putting my energy right now, and call for the flow of energy to come through you. Now, the invocations have certain specific phrasings, but you can customize them. The formula is maximum blank that serves highest good, please. So you can say maximum any flavor of energy you want, physical vitality, whatever it is that you want more of, and call that in and then passively rest, and you'll feel that flavor of energy permeating your body and coming online for you, okay?
Okay.
And that's covered on my website in the invocation section that I'll just mention briefly how to get there super quick. Go to astroshaman.com on a computer, and on the top of the homepage sidebar, there's this purple banner. It says Heal and Awaken Invocations. On a small screen like a phone, it'll be down page aways, but click that. It'll take you to a page with some blog posts. The very first post has a blue angel. It says Invocations for Healing and Awakening. And A to Z, all these energetic modalities I'm referencing here are fully described there like an encyclopedia, and it gives you everything you need to know to do them. So that may be of some help.
Oh, great. Thank you so much.
So in summary, as we close your section, it is time for you to clear a lot of that heavy stuff. Let me mention, too, on that invocations page, there is a post that says Your Negative Reactions, Golden Opportunities for Clearing and Awakening. And since a lot of old stuff is being stirred up, let me give one more image that's helpful in this context, which is generally helpful for every caller, I think. I call it the Great Onion of Consciousness. And the idea is that you at the core are this beautiful divine light. We're all God at the core, in my experience. Bliss, flow, ecstasy. But in this lifetime and others, anytime we've had an unresolved wound or trauma, it puts a dark layer around the core. And we have a certain number of these layers. And in a sense, the way to awakening is to peel the onion. This means your willingness to face the unpleasant energy as it's stirred up, and you have an effective tool for clearing it. In this case, my healing invocation works for a lot of people. You just say, maximum healing that serves highest good, please. Passively breathe. The light comes in, flushes off the layer. So I know I'm making it sound really simple, and it actually can be very simple. So those are some ideas. Again, it's all laid out in much more detail on the site, and you're welcome to go check it out there at astroshaman.com.
Perfect. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for calling, Jeannie.
Wonderful. Thank you, Jamie. Yeah.
Thanks.
Okay. Hold on 1 second.
Yeah.
All right.
One thing.
Great.
Yeah, I'm liking that these questions are such questions that I feel like the things I'm saying can be helpful for a lot of people who are just listening. So I'm glad that the questions are broadly asked in a lot of people's situations.
Yeah. Absolutely. I totally agree. Okay, we're going to go to, geez, I was just looking at it and it's suddenly gone. It's like, okay. We're going to go to phone number ending in 7355, 7355. 1 second. Hold on. Okay. Yeah. Hello?
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 Hi, who's this?
Hello. Hi, my name is Kay, and it's...
Kay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Hi, and it's... Hello, are you there?
Yes,
yeah,
please
we're
give
here.
me your date of birth.
7/19/58.
And your time of birth.
1:04 p.m.
And the city of birth.
SCHENECTADY, New York.
Schenectady.
Yes.
I think there's a movie with that name, actually. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so I've got your chart up. What's your question?
About relocation.
Okay, can you be more specific, please?
The Gulf Coast of Florida or way Northern California?
Okay, so you are going to relocate. You're just wondering which of the areas is better?
Correct.
Okay, all right. Now, my software has a solar mapping module, and what I'm doing is I'm pulling up your solar map, and I'm going to look at the lines for those places. You said one of them was in Florida?
I'm sorry?
Give me the first city you want to look at.
Fort Myers.
And that's in Florida?
Correct.
Thank you. Okay. And because I don't right know where that is, which part of Florida is that in? Oh, I found it. Forgive me. I'm going to now check the angular lines near there. Fort Myers is very loosely conjunct what's called a Jupiter ascendant line. So there's a small smidge of energy of good, positive energy going out to the world, but it's very subtle. There are also, so it's a subtle energy. There are some secondary lines of influence there that say this would be a place where you could act as a mentor or healer. Actually, the healer-mentor vibe is actually pretty strong there, so there's that subtle influence as well. But these are actually, in the great scheme, subtler energies. So the things I'm describing would be, subtle, not really blatant. Where is the other place you wanted to look?
Jenner, California.
Jenner, Jenner?
Correct.
And which part of California is that in?
Northern, above San Francisco.
And since that may not show on my map, let me see. Is there a larger city?
Santa Rosa.
Santa Rosa. Okay, I found that. Is it pretty much very close to Santa Rosa?
About an hour north.
Okay, thank you. All right, so let me see if you got any. I'm not sure there's any angular energy anywhere near there. Just a minute. Yeah, there is no angular astrology line close enough to be meaningful there. So in my estimation and experience with astronautics, both places are fairly neutral astrologically. Neither one has what I would call a super powerful influence. So the astrology influences in terms of angular lines are too subtle to make a difference. Now, what would make a difference, and that we don't really have time to do right now, and that I would do with a client situation, is I would actually relocate to both places. Generate a chart as if you were born in each place, and then look at the general orientation of planets in the particular houses. Unfortunately, that is too technical to get into right now, and I'm also going to choose not to do it because it's also too specific to be helpful to the listenership in general. So I'd be happy to probe into that more deeply if you wanted to book a private session. But the broad answer to your question is there's no one big juicy astrology line going close enough to either of the places to make either one a no-brainer choice. So I apologize.
Do you show one that's lit up that you just see that's obvious? One area of the country?
Again, astromapping is too specific. Every line carries a nuance of meaning. I'd have to probe into exactly what you're looking for. And it's just too technical and not helpful enough to the listenership to put our time on right now. I'm so sorry.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks for calling.
Yeah, thank you, Kay. And that is a great point though that Kay brought up. It's about relocating and what cities are good for you and what cities may not be good for you astrologically, right? So I remember one time I had done that with somebody, and they said Vienna is great for your relationship. It's like, oh, good. So which happens to be true, but some other places were better for other things. But it's like, oh, okay, relationship, that was important to me at the time.
Yeah. Yeah. So
they said yes.
With astromapping, you really have to know what you're looking for, and again, I hated to not go any deeper with Kay, but again, I know part of our job being on a live show is to deal with questions that also have broader applicability for more people. So.
Yeah, absolutely. So do you have time for one more question?
Sure.
All right, so we're going to go to phone number ending in 5688. 5688. Hello.
Oh, sorry. It's Derek. Hi, Benjamin.
Hi, Derek.
It's Derek. My birth date is January 10th, 61.
Uh-huh.
The time is 2:39 p.m.
Okay.
And it's Jamaica, Jamaica, Kingston, the West Indies.
So the city is Jamaica, or did you say Kingston?
Kingston.
So,
Kingston.
And the country is Jamaica. Okay, thank you. I got it. Let me get you up here. Thank God Solar Fire makes charts quickly. Okay, I have your chart up. What's your question?
Okay. The question I have, my younger son has been, gone blind in the last 6 months to 9 months. Just wondered if they haven't really found a cure, the actual cause. It's quite very rare, so they're still kind of looking into it. But do we see some kind of resolution to this in the near future, or is this just an ongoing thing? Or what else kind of stands out in the chart?
Now, I'll have to, when it's something I'm not qualified for, I'll be the first to admit it. This is a question that, if dealt with astrologically, should be done by a certified medical astrologer. And that is a very deep specialty. And also, you're asking me a question that astrology, in my opinion, cannot answer. You're asking me for, will a cure happen? And
don't worry about that. How about, I understand, Benjamin. How about just what kind of jumps out of the chart? Is there anything that kind of jumps out at this time?
What kind of what in the chart? I'm sorry?
Is there something that jumps out to you that you can speak about then? I mean, just leave it general.
Yes. And then, yes, your chart is giving some very strong energy right now, actually. You are currently receiving the strongest astrology transits of your lifetime.
How come I'm not surprised?
Because you're feeling it, okay? So let me explain what's happening. You've got your natal sun at 20 Capricorn. Saturn is tightly conjunct your sun. Saturn is important because he rules an angle. Mercury is right there at 23 Capricorn. So that's a strong cluster of energies. Right now, the planet Pluto is approaching conjunction to your sun. To have Pluto on the sun, that alone is the most powerful transit of a lifetime, all things being equal. And, of course, you have Uranus already squaring the sun, Saturn, and Mercury. And, of course, these other planets, Jupiter and Vesta, are giving some short-term stimulation. So I could spend a long time describing this, but in a nutshell, which is what we have time for here, you need to, at the very core, take that Pluto advice I gave very much to heart. You are now in a situation where everything, without exception, that does not serve you is going to ask to be released. So you need to be very, very lightly holding any concepts about yourself or your life. And for the next 4 years, the Pluto is going to say, okay, I invite you to release everything that does not promote your most wonderful evolution and transformation. And if you're a spirit, are you a person who connects with the divine? Is that part of your life situation?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yes?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Benjamin, yes.
Yeah, so it is surrender time. It's time to say, wow, I'm ready to release any and all shadow material that's going to come roaring up with Pluto on the sun. So the next 3 or 4 years are going to be extremely intense. And if played well, if played consciously and without excessive resistance, you are going to peel so many layers of that onion I talked about, you're going to emerge so bright and shiny on the other side. But it's going to be intense. But you do not have to suffer. A very important thing to keep in mind, there's a Buddhist saying, pain is mandatory, suffering is optional.
Okay.
So as these old wounds and heavy things come up in your psyche, do not resist them, do not sweep them under the rug. Find modalities to clear them. The healing invocation and the simple focus invocation on my site, or the simple focus healing tool that links from the healing invocation post will help you. There's an article on my site also that links from that healing post. It's called Shadow Work Resources, U.S. and International. I would definitely check that out, because if I were you, I'd be proactively doing things like shamanic ceremonies or holotropic breath work or similar breath work modalities. I'd be actively peeling that onion even before you get triggered, because this is such an incredible opportunity. And the power, the grace that can be bestowed on you if you negotiate this well is just incredible. Now, I also, just to be fair notice, it doesn't end with Pluto getting off the sun, because your moon's at basically 28.5 Libra. You'll get maybe a year or two off, but then in the early 2020s, Pluto squares the moon, which is almost
right,
intense.
Of course.
Okay.
Yeah,
so you're up for 7 or 8 years of real intense Pluto work here. Okay. So managed consciously, it can be a magnificent blessing. Just expect intensity, expect shadow stuff to come up, and just be armed and ready with your healing modalities so you know what to do with them when they arrive. Okay?
Well, thank you so much, Benjamin, for your heads up.
You're welcome. And
I appreciate it.
And again, I want to close with a very strong emphasis here. I'm being real with you about how intense it's going to be, and I want to be just as real with you about how incredibly conscious and awakened and brilliantly bright and shiny you can be with this process, because every time you peel a layer of the onion, you end up in a state of bliss and ecstasy and divine consciousness that's deeper than the one before it. And every time you peel even one layer, you end up more spiritually conscious on the other side, and it goes deeper, 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 deeper. There is no end to awakening, okay? So you will get many, many beautiful interim rewards on your way down, okay?
Thank you so much for this, Ben. Thanks so much.
You're welcome. All right.
Thank you, Derek.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Wow, powerful.
Yeah, Laura.
So Benjamin, what happened to your mic, Benjamin?
My mic?
Yeah, it's like you shifted to a different mic.
I did not. I haven't changed a thing.
Oh, well, it's better now, maybe. Okay.
Oh, good. Okay.
It was fine. Yeah, it was. Yeah, no, it's okay. It's all good.
Okay. So what I wanted to, can I briefly throw on a cul-de-sac on what you and I were talking about, like for just a minute?
Yep. Mhm.
Okay. Yeah, the reason I was being so emphatic with them is because I've done a lot of ayahuasca journeys over the last 12 years, and the early years of my ceremonies were so intense. I mean, ayahuasca would take me to some very deep, very dark places. I would purge tons of entities, and there were times I'd be so exhausted in ceremony I had no juice left, and I was just dependent on the grace of the shaman and the medicine to carry me through the rest of the clearing. So I know whereof I speak. I have cleared that heavy stuff out of myself, and I did it proactively, just because I was so intent on waking up. So I've been down that intense road, and I'm here to tell you the state I'm in now compared to where I was is so much more beautiful. Whatever you have to go through to do your healing and purging, it is so worth it. It is so worth it. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yep, I totally agree. Yeah, thank you. And the thing is, nobody can do it for you, so nobody else can do it for you. This kind of work you have to do yourself. You can get facilitation from people, but you still have to do the work. You still have to look at the shadow parts and consciously choose to release them and stuff like that. Because I know I'm totally on board because I've been doing so much healing for myself as well the past 5 years especially. So I know, it's like, okay, so we are at the top of the hour, a little bit past. So Benjamin, I wanted to talk a little bit about the special offers before we do the healing and invocation. So for those of you who are on the live page, you can just click on special offer. So for those of you on the phone, you can go to awakentohappinessnow.com/Benjamin12. And okay, perfect. So Benjamin, do you want to just talk about these different offers? There's 3 of them, 3 special offers, 3 packages, A, B, and C.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so basically what they all include is a session with me, and it's an Astrology Plus session as I described earlier, which can include astrology, shamanic healing, and or awakening activation, whichever combination of things feels best to you. There's a package that's an hour, there's a package that's 90 minutes, there's a package that's 2 hours. And each package includes some MP3s that are specially selected from my EASE program. They're kind of a best of the best package. So the first package, are you calling them A, B, and C instead of 1, 2, and 3?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah.
So package A. Yeah, my internet's down, so I'm having to send you earlier. So package A includes a 1-hour session, and just the time with me would be normally $180, but we're discounting at 20% to $144. It also gives you 4 of, again, the all-time best recordings from my EASE program, 5.5 hours of transformational audio. There is a recording of my Heal and Awaken invocation cycle, the four things that take you into the awakened state. There is a shamanic awakening ceremony that is the invocations with me doing the full-blown shaman thing, singing, rattling, really moving energy very powerfully to help you really clear a lot of heavy energy. There is another recording that is called 2 Healing Methods, where we do both the healing invocation and simple focus healing. So this one is really great for clearing out whatever is energetically in your way. And the 4th is called Q&A and Planetary Invocation. The planetary invocations is the big one. This is a thing I do called shamanic astrology, where we actually invoke the planet's consciousness themselves. Every planet has a unique quality of energy, and in this you learn how to call in particular planets to get particular effects. So that is the first set of MP3s with the 1-hour Astrology Plus. Again, normally $180, $144 on the package. If you want to go deeper, package B is a 90-minute Astrology Plus. Yeah, and 8 MP3s. You get the 4 I just described and then 4 more. These include the golden ray integration. The golden ray is the composite of all the colored rays, and it contains the Christ energy really, really beautifully. Another recording is a deep healing session. And by the way, this is like another 5.5 hours of recordings. They run between 1 and 2 hours each. A really profound deep healing process. A third one, I teach the basic principles of NVC, nonviolent communication, how to harmoniously communicate in a high conflict potential situation and have everyone get what they need. And then there's a beautiful group healing and blending process there as well. And finally, there's one called simultaneous awareness play, where we gradually and systematically alternate between an integrated awareness of our divine essence, 5 senses, emotions, thoughts, and chakras. It's just an amazing end effect of all this. And what all these are, they're recordings of actual processes I did in the EASE program. And I have been told by so many people the recordings are just as powerful as the live events. You will get just as strong a juice as if you were on the original live call. And the final package, package C, is a 2-hour Astrology Plus. Again, astrology, shamanic healing, awakening, activation, whatever combo you want. I forgot to give the price on the second one. I'm sorry. Back to package B, 90 minutes and 8 recordings, normally $270 down to $216, 20% discount. And the third package with 2 hours, normally $360. This one's just $288. You get 2 hours with me and 12 recordings, everything I've described. Plus, we actually do an energy flow to Donald Trump. We did this shortly after he was elected, where we're calling for his highest good and the highest good of all those affected by him. Really calling, because the divine knows what he's there to do, and we're just calling whatever that is, let's let it be done. There's another one with a subtle spiritual journey, where there's a lot of time spent in the inner realms, very subtle, very high vibration, beautiful energies. Another one with a spontaneous spiritual journey, again, very beautiful, subtle inner journeying. If you have any sensitivity at all, you'll feel these exquisite states of bliss and ecstasy that we go through in this. And the final recording is Ascension, Nurturing, and Integration, along with some healing and a little Q&A. So Ascension is where the earth itself is already ascending, and Ascension means you become aware of this higher dimensional version of yourself, and you can tune into this while you're still in your physical bodies. You're in 3D. Ascension is noted by, there's more of a blended group consciousness. You're aware that you can share energy with other beings, and there's a tremendous ecstasy and bliss with the blending of you and other beings. So that's very quick, bullet point descriptions, but that's a sense of what it is. And of course, the more time you buy, the more deep and wonderful work we can do when we actually do our session.
Absolutely. Beautiful. Thank you. And I think, for me, I think we did an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours, and it was so comprehensive, Yeah, it was so powerful and beautiful and so comprehensive. And we did a combination of different things. It wasn't just astrology. It was more, so it was just, I just loved it. It's like, wow. I was so impressed with that whole session again. So thank you, Benjamin.
You're welcome. And let me throw in something too. The purchaser does not have to figure out how much of each thing, okay? Because that really, if they have a very specific idea, of course, I'll honor their desire. But usually what happens, we start with astrology, and then intuitively I just know, we need this energetic process. I'll always get permission before I shift modalities. But I've done so many of these, over 6,000 sessions, I just know intuitively when it's time to shift to shamanic healing or awakening activation or whatever it is that needs to happen next. And I am guided very, very consistently in my sessions by my higher energies and the client's higher self especially. So people will get what they need when they work with me.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yep. Thank you. So that, again, those 3 special offers they're available at awakentohappinessnow.com/Benjamin12. So please do take a look at those and see how they resonate with you. And then you can choose depending on what's going on in your life and how much information you really want, how deep you want to go. There are three levels of deepness that you can go into. So yeah, take a look at that. All right. So what is next on our agenda, Benjamin?
Well, depending on how much time you've got, I think it would be good to do some of that invocation work so people can actually have the personal experience on the call of the things I've been talking about. Yeah, that would be awesome.
That'd be great. And take your time with it, you know.
Okay, so there's no, I mean, realistically, how long do I have to do this? Because I can tailor it to whatever time's actually available.
20 minutes, 25 minutes, 30 minutes. You know, I'm just going to extend the time on the clock, so it's fine.
Okay, sweet. Okay, so we can do a full cycle then. That's awesome. I'd much prefer that.
Yep.
Thank you for the time. Okay, so the first thing I have to say very importantly, only do what we're about to do if you can give it your full attention. Do not do this if you are driving. Do not do this right now if you cannot give it your full attention and you're going to have distractions from around you because you're not going to get the full effect. And because everyone is participating into the energetic field of this, if you are distracted, it's actually going to make it harder for everyone else to do it. Because the energy you're holding is going to transmit into the field we're co-creating. This is a group creation we're about to do, not just me. So I ask you to please be respectful and only do this right now if you can really give it your full attention. If not, the replay will be up and you can do it later. Okay? So if that's the case, then I invite you now to close your eyes and become aware of your entire physical body. And as you tune into the body, notice also if you feel the part of you that's energy. And words that might point to this are prana, chi, current, heat, life force, tingling, anything like that. An awareness of a part of you that is not just the physical body, it's an energetic, tingly feeling. And again, you're not trying to change it, you're just noticing what's already there. So notice first, do I feel any energetic part of me at all? And if I do, what is stronger overall? Is it the physical body awareness or the energy body awareness? Just notice which is stronger at this moment, not changing a thing. And if you want to be even more precise, to the nearest 10%, how much energy do I feel? Is it none? Is it 30%, 50, 70, 90, whatever? Just to the nearest 10%, roughly how much am I aware of the energy part of me right now compared to the physical awareness? And just get that number in your mind and then let it go. What we just did was we established a baseline. Your ego wants to compare things, and now it has a comparison point for the end of our journey. So please do keep your eyes closed while you do this so that you can keep your full attention in the inner world where all the action is. We're now going to do our first invocation, and I'm going to preview each of the invocations for you so that you are forewarned of what we're about to do. The first one, we're going to call in the maximum light and divine consciousness that serves highest good. So if you are willing to receive that, then please repeat after me. If you can repeat out loud, that's awesome. If you cannot, doing it mentally will still work. So please repeat after me if you wish. Spirit that I am, please saturate me with the maximum light and divine consciousness that serves highest good. Starting now, thank you. Having said the invocation, release it. You don't have to remember it. You handed it off to your higher self. Your memory of it is not required. So now, just relax into breath awareness. Your job now is to be completely passive. The way to do this is to first notice where in your body do you feel the breath most easily. Is it the nose, the head, throat, chest, diaphragm, belly? Just notice as the breath on its own comes and goes with no control at all on your part. Where is it easiest to feel? And you're simply placing your attention there and feeling it. Pure and simple, like an animal with no thoughts, just sensual awareness. Then there's a few guidelines I'm going to give you to help you with this breath awareness process. First off, here's what I want you not to do. Do not use effort or willpower or visualizing or imagining. Those are effort. Your job is to be passive. You're just feeling breath. You're not trying to make these invocations happen. Also, you are going to get distracted, I guarantee it. You're not going to be able to stay with the breath all the time. Therefore, when you become aware that you are distracted, first off, do not fight or try to change the distractions. That would only make them stronger. Instead, what you want to do is to simply relax back into the breath awareness and do this very gently and very persistently. There is no way to do this wrong. It does not matter how many times you get distracted. It doesn't matter how long they last. All that matters in this relaxing process is when you notice you're distracted, you simply relax back into the breath very gently, very persistently. So right now what you're doing is you're noticing the sensation of each breath coming in and out of your body. You're not using effort or willpower or visualizing or imagining. When you become aware that you're not aware of your breath, you're just relaxing back into it very gently and very persistently. And by the way, if as you go back to the breath, the distraction remains in the background, that's perfectly fine. There's room for both of you. Just keep choosing the breath as your primary focus. This is very effortless. Good, we're getting it. And now the reason I'm saying that is as I lead a process like this, I become very sensitive and I feel the overall vibe of what everybody is doing, not just the live people, but even the people on the recording afterward. So I'm getting the vibe of everyone who will ever listen to this recording, including those who are here live now. So it's feeling pretty sweet. Good job, guys. I do ask again, if you are doing this, whether you're live or on a recording, please give it your full attention. You're contributing to the energetic field that everyone else is experiencing. Give it your best shot. At the same time, therefore, you are also held by the energy of everybody else who's doing this at any point in time. You may already notice a difference in your feeling. People who are less energetically sensitive, they tend to notice, oh, I'm feeling a little more calm and relaxed. Those who are more sensitive in a more technical way, they may be feeling particular flavors and movements of energy in their body. Whichever way, just relax and let it come in more deeply. I'm going to give you one more little tool of the trade here. Let's play the minimum effort game. I invite you now, let's see what's the least effort needed to feel the breath awareness at all. We're going to start by going to 0 effort. No effort at all. You're just going to be. And if in that state of completely surrendered, simple beingness, there is breath awareness spontaneously arising, then 0 effort is all you need. If you lose the breath at 0 effort, then I invite you to add back the tiniest amount of effort needed to get the breath at all. Just the bare minimum. And y'all are collectively doing so beautifully that we're now ready for our next invocation because the light's pretty strong in our collective field now. So the next invocation is to be one with the absolute peacefulness that you are. If you are willing to do that, then please repeat after me out loud if possible, silently if you must. Spirit that I am, please make me one with the absolute peace that I am. To the greatest extent that serves highest good. Starting now, thank you. this or something better. Now I'd like you to notice if the feeling of peacefulness is really noticeable, I invite you to shift your awareness to the peacefulness instead of the breath. Just feel the peaceful feeling. If that is not a sufficient focus, you can stay with the breath as long as you need to before shifting over. But if you're feeling the peacefulness in a decent way, then just notice the peaceful feeling in the body. And all you're doing is noticing the feeling of peacefulness that is already present. You are not making any effort to increase it or change it in any way. With your attention, you're simply appreciating the peacefulness already present, completely passively. So here you are, just hanging out, noticing peacefulness, being content with what is. But the peaceful energy, that is your divine essence, is noticing you paying attention and appreciating you. And it's saying, oh my gosh, they're appreciating my peacefulness. I'll give them some more. So it's kind of like you're a partially saturated sponge here, partially peaceful. And just by passively noticing the peacefulness already present, this invites in more. And so as you simply relax and feel the peacefulness, very gradually it increases stronger and stronger, more and more peacefulness without you having to do a thing except feel what's already there. Very simple. At this level, too, let's play the minimum effort game. Once again, I invite you to go to zero effort. Just be, just float. There is no effort being expended of any kind. Now, what I'm feeling of the collective is that most or maybe even all of us are floating. So I'd like you to notice if you're now aware of that part of you that feels kind of light and floaty. Some people just have that experience. For some people, it feels like, oh, I feel like a cloud. I feel like a ball of light. Whether it's any of those things I described, whatever it is, just relax into whatever you're feeling, the light floaty part. With zero effort. You'll notice as you relax, it's like the peacefulness holds you, like a mama holding a baby. You're the baby. Just allow this beautiful, nurturing, mothering, peaceful energy just to hold you in its arms. And all you have to do is relax and completely let go. And this beautiful light just holds you so beautifully. And again, the sensation here is very peaceful, very wonderful. Now, if you're having a conscious experience of this, you'll notice you feel like a being of energy more than a being of flesh. And what you are here has no shape. It's just like you are just energy, just pure, unbounded energy. The qualities here, when you're fully present, is very peaceful. And this part of you actually does not experience mental chatter or challenging emotion. So right now, notice, is any of that arising, or is it just peaceful? Is the mind just quiet? Is the heart calm and still? So if you're in a state now where it's really peaceful, there's no chatter, there's no challenging emotion, then I congratulate you because you have actually just awakened to your higher self. You have become it. There is no difference anymore. You've been it all along, and if you didn't already have awareness of it, you do now. So if you're in that state of no thought, no challenging emotion, just hang out here for a moment. If your experience is that there is still a little bit or some mental chatter or challenging emotion, but it's partially peaceful, partially chattery, I'd like you to notice the two parts of you. The floaty part, if you actually pay attention, is not having any chatter or challenging emotion. If there is any of that happening, it's down from the ego, from the body. So see if you can make that distinction about where that mental or emotional activity is coming from, if there's any at all. And then once you have this awareness of the two parts of you, all you have to do is direct your attention back to the floaty part, the cloud, the ball of light part. And just once again, put your attention there, relax into it, and it pulls you right in. And if you fully go in all the way, then you will experience no mental chatter, no challenging emotion. Just that easy. Anybody can do this, no prerequisites. It's your birthright. So I'm going to assume at this point that we're there. And again, if at any point you're not experiencing what I'm talking about, just hang out in whatever's happening for you. You're getting your own perfect, customized experience. So I'm going to assume now we're in this beautiful floaty ball of light. No chatter, no challenging emotion, peaceful, effortless. So this part of you is what I believe to be your higher self. I think this part of you is unborn, undying, immortal, and eternal. This is the part that created the human being that you embody. And when the day eventually comes that that human being dies, this is what you will return to. This part is eternal. It's had lots of incarnations before you. It'll probably have a lot afterward. The human being that you are is certainly not your final identity. It is more like your rent-a-car. It is the part of you that is the tool, the instrument of the higher self. It has come here for a particular purpose, to aid in the soul growth of that light part of you. So see if right now what feels more vivid, more real. Is it the energy part or is it the physical body part? Which is more in your awareness vividly right now? And if the energy part of you is stronger, then you will be knowing experientially that what I'm saying is true. So this is an awesome place to be. We can hang out here forever because it's so yummy and peaceful, but we have more to do. The next invocation is going to integrate this peaceful light body and your physical body together so that your ego, your human part, gets to have the same experience as the light body. That is no challenging emotions, no mental chatter, really peaceful. And in fact, you can probably tell what I'm talking to you right now is actually your divine part, but I now need a word with your ego. So ego, here is my proposition. I'm going to see if you're willing to invite your higher self in to be your operating system, to be your driver. If you, the ego, have been driving the car till now, I want to see if you're willing to slide to the passenger seat and let your divine part drive. I need to tell you right up front, ego, that this is an experiment, and if you don't like it, all you have to do is scoot back to the driver's seat. Your divine will immediately step out, and you instantly have control back. So this is an experiment. If you do not like the way it feels, at any point you cancel the experiment simply by taking the wheel again, and you're back in control just like you were. So I need you to understand, ego, you're at absolutely no risk. And I also need you to know that there's huge benefits for doing this. If you allow your divine to drive, here is what will happen. And this is just a beginning list of the amazing things that you'll get. You will have, on a daily routine basis, more harmony, flow, ease, and grace in your life. Everything you are responsible for, you will do more responsibly and more joyfully. Instead of having to figure things out, you will just know what to do intuitively. And even small little activities will start to get filled with bliss and ecstasy. I am not speaking theoretically. I am describing my daily reality, and I know many, many people who have this as their daily reality as well. So, if that sounds like something you would like to try on for size, then let's invoke it. So if you want to do this, repeat after me. Spirit that I am, please integrate my peaceful light body and my physical body to the greatest extent that serves highest good. Starting now, thank you. This or something better. We're back in the physical body. So now I invite you to once again go to passive breath awareness. Just feel the breath come and go. Once again, notice where in the body do I feel the breath most easily. Place your attention there. Just feel the breath come and go. Your only job now is to feel breath. As before, there is no effort, willpower, visualizing, or imagining. If you become distracted and notice that it has happened, in other words, your attention is anywhere but your breathing, do not fight or try to change the distraction. Relax back into the breath. Do it very gently and very persistently. Repeat as needed. And please play with me the minimum effort game. What's the absolute minimum effort needed to feel the breath at all? We begin by going to 0 effort, just being completely passive. And if in this state of absolute passivity, there is breath awareness already, that's all you need. If there is not, add the teeniest amount of effort needed to feel the breath at all. Make it as easy as possible. The ego does nothing. The divine does everything. Well done. This feels really yummy. Just let a few more breaths come and go whenever they wish to. Based on what I'm feeling, most or all of us are integrating really nicely. In fact, I believe we are far enough along we can do the checklist. So as you continue resting in breath, I'm going to ask some questions to yourself. Simply answer yes or no. Do you have full awareness of your physical body? Do you still have awareness of your peaceful light body? Can you feel both bodies at the same time? Are they so integrated that it's hard to tell them apart? In your physical body, is there a sense of increased vitality that's extremely comfortable, kind of a tingly feeling? I call this smooth electricity. It's the feeling of the divine body in your physical body. At this moment, are you experiencing any mental chatter or challenging emotion? You would know by now. If not, then you have full integration. Are you feeling peaceful? And finally, as you once again go to absolute 0 effort, is this state holding itself? No maintenance needed from you. So when the embodied awakening is fully there, then these are the minimum qualities that will be true. There will be no mental chatter, no challenging emotion, very peaceful, self-maintaining. So see if that's true for you now. If not, practice will get you there. So feel the way you're feeling now and ask yourself, what do I prefer, the way I feel now or the way I usually feel every day? If your answer is that you prefer this and would like this to be your new normal on a daily basis, then we have one more invocation that will help make it more consistent. What this invocation will do is place your main awareness in your peaceful light body from now on while maintaining optimal awareness in the physical world. If that sounds like a good idea, please repeat after me. Spirit that I am, please place my main awareness in my peaceful light body from now on, while maintaining optimal functionality in the physical world.
all this to the greatest extent that serves highest good. Starting now, thank you. This or something better. And release the invocation. Once again, please return now to passive breath awareness. Just let the breath come and go. Notice the feeling. Minimum effort game, zero effort enough. Be as passive as you can. And you may feel sensations in your body. Often there's sensations in the brain, especially as your divine self, since you've given it your blessing, is making tweaks and upgrades and shifts to allow this awakening to be more consistent for you. Now, this integration will last a while. Optimally, I would recommend you rest with no distractions, if possible, until you feel like whatever is going on inside you is done. It will be of different lengths for different people. But do what you can in your circumstance. I now invite you to open your eyes. This is still part of the process. And look around the environment you're in. And notice if, as you engage visually with your environment, do you still have the same embodied awakening happening? Is the feeling still the same, still maintaining itself? Peaceful, no chatter, no challenging emotion. Okay. Now, the good news is, instead of me now having to give you all the verbal follow-up on this, it's all in writing on my website. So all that you have to do now to learn how to do this on a daily maintenance basis and actually deepen and empower it on your own is to go to astroshaman.com when you are done with your integration. And I've already told you about the purple banner. Again, it's on the homepage sidebar at the top. If you're on a big screen device like a computer, if you're on a phone or a small screen, you may have to scroll down, but that purple banner that says Heal and Awaken Invocations will be there somewhere in plain sight. Click it. It will take you to the page with 4 posts. The first post with the blue angel has complete maintenance instructions on what to do now. What I will do now is give the absolute minimum, which is just the 8-word refresher called the Embodied Awakening Refresher. The 8 words are maximum embodied awakening that serves highest good, please. If you will do that as soon as possible every day and rest in passive breath awareness, this state or better can return in a matter of seconds. Do it when you go to bed. Do it as needed through the day to call the state back. When you get triggered and challenging emotions come up, even on top of this baseline, you do the healing invocation, maximum healing that serves highest good, please. The shower of energy comes in, flushes out the heavy stuff that got stirred up. The layer of the onion peels. You end up even more blissful, more ecstatic, more spiritually awake, layer after layer after layer. There is much more that it would be very helpful to know, but again, I don't want to run us forever on this call, and it's all in writing at astroshaman.com, and you know how to get there now. So with that, Alara, I turn it back to you.
Thank you so much, Benjamin. That was beautiful. I don't think we've ever done it quite that way before, the full cycle, I don't think. So that was really powerful. I, of course, did not want to open my eyes or come out of it. I'm still quite in it, which is so peaceful. So thank you. And I can sense, even as I'm in this state, a change in my the way I'm speaking. It's a lot slower and much more grounded. Even I'm much more centered and feeling so much more peace and bliss. So thank you for that. That was so wonderful. Please do go to astroshaman.com and you can look up the 8 words and the whole process and continue to do this on your own every day, as often as you wish. It'll help, right? So thank you.
And let me just throw in too.
Yep.
Yeah, and the EASE program that is linked from 2 of those posts, and it's also in my services pull down, EASE, Embodied Awakening Support Experience. We do this process and many others every week. It is a free program, And if people like the vibe of what I'm doing and would like additional weekly support, that is freely offered.
Beautiful. Thank you. That's so sweet. And I know that some of you had some really serious or heavy-duty questions, that you wanted to ask Benjamin. So please do take a look at the special offers that are available at awakentohappinessnow.com/Benjamin12 and see how they resonate with you. Because, on a call like this, there's only so much that Benjamin can answer and give. So please do take a look at that as well. And, again, Benjamin, this has been just absolutely wonderful. So much information that you gave us at the beginning about the Grand Cross and all that and how that's affecting everyone. So please go back and listen to this again or go to his website. There's more information there. But some really valuable information right now about what we can do to help ourselves. Doing the shadow work, doing the releasing, it's really going to be important for, I think, for all of us right now. So go back and listen to that again at the beginning part, or go to Benjamin's website at astroshaman.com and take a look at some of the information there. That'll be really helpful. So yeah, anything else you wanted to share about that, Benjamin?
Yeah, just one clarification. Earlier in the call, I called myself an awakener, and it might be better to say awakening facilitator. I cannot awaken anyone else. I can hold the vibration of awakening myself. I can give them a process like invocations that they can use to do it for themselves. But I wanted to just correct that semantic error. I cannot awaken anyone. I can just set the framework to give someone an easier shot at doing it for themselves.
Oh, perfect. Thank you. Yeah, no, I really appreciate that. Yeah, thank you for that clarification. And so, yeah, I mean, the way that we're all feeling right now, the best thing to do is see if you can stay in this state for longer and longer and continue to be, to embody this presence of you that you are. And as we are closing out this Radiant Light Healing Circle, again, come back to your heart space. Just continue to feel this presence, continue to feel this light, this unconditional love, and share it with, everyone here on the call, everyone listening later, your family and friends and loved ones. So many of us could use that energetic support right now. So share freely because it is available, right? Fill yourself up with this beautiful love and energy and then share that with the world. So I have a quick comment from Pinar. She said, this was amazing. I was a violet light. I could see a pulsating, swirling light, and I was in peace. I did feel the peace. My body bowed in absolute gratitude in the end. Love and light. Oh, thank you, Pinar. That's beautiful.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and, it's like I couldn't get to Pinar's question, but, there are lots of people who had questions. But thank you, Pinar, for that. I really appreciate it. So thank you, everyone, for your questions. Thank you for calling in. Thank you for submitting your questions on the Q&A. I'm sorry we couldn't get to everyone. Time limits on these calls. But please do take a look at Benjamin's offerings. They really are helpful, and they provide much insight, a lot of insight and information that may be of service to you, that may be of use to you. And if the sessions are astrology plus, right? So astrology plus other stuff. So, take a look at that. I'll go back and listen to this call again one more time. But there's so much information that Benjamin shared with us, and he has so much more that he can share with you in these personal sessions. So do take a look. Thank you so much, Benjamin. That was absolutely beautiful. And I always love it when you come on because you always share so much wonderful wisdom and energy and bring so much peace to all of us. So thank you.
Oh, my great privilege. Thank you so much, Laura, for having me.
All right, everyone. Thank you. And until next time, continue to live your life filled with joy, peace, love, abundance, and happiness. Blessings and love always. Bye for now.